Good afternoon. It's Don here, King Don, having another little ramble. Hope you're having yourself a great Monday and had a good weekend. I'm going to do a bit of a follow-up to my last video on self-checkouts, and I was talking about a couple of reasons why I support self-checkout, and got a couple of feedbacks, comments that I just kind of wanted to create kind of a supplementary video. I'm actually going to do this one and one more. So this one I'm going to talk about accommodating disabilities and community connections, and another video I'm going to do with some of the potential negative fallouts of using self-checkout. Right? People were talking about false accusations of theft or things like that. So today we're going to focus on what do we do with employees who would potentially be losing their position, who have disabilities and need some accommodations. How do we deal with customers who aren't grasping self-checkout? And how do we deal with customers who strive for that connection? They want that human-to-human connections, and that's why they're going to the staff checkout, and so we're going to talk about that. So in my previous video, I made a comment about people losing their jobs because they won't go to another position, and I got a great reminder that sometimes it's not that people won't go, it's that they can't go to another position. Just a little life lesson about me, and I totally understand disabilities. A few years ago, I had an injury in my shoulder, and on this shoulder, I can maybe get my arm up to about here. Right? This hand, I can get my hand all the way up. So I consider myself to be able-bodied for the most part, but I do have some disabilities that are hidden. I have tired hips, and I know that it sounds crazy, but if I walk too much or stand up for too long, it hurts. Right? My legs hurt, my hips hurt. If I trip on my foot, it'll just almost bring tears to my eyes. And I'm not even 50 yet. Hold on to the horses there, right? Sit down. And so I know that if I had a job working as a cashier, that I wouldn't be able to stand up all day or sit down all day. So maybe that's why I have a job as a cashier. And now my boss is coming up to me and saying, Don, I need you to become an order picker or to become a night self-stalker. The reality is I'd probably be looking for another job because I couldn't do those all day long, every day, Monday to Friday, or whatever the schedule was. That's just reality, right? I used to be a junk removal guy up until a few months ago, when the business kind of just for some reason stopped being realistic. People quit calling, and so looking for work was, what can I do now? Right? I can't work in a warehouse. That's how I hurt my shoulder. Right? I can't. So working in a grocery store, I can't reach those top shelves. Even climbing up a ladder, remember, I can only get this arm to about here. I can't pull with this arm. Right? I can pull with this arm, but can't pull with this arm. And so working in a grocery store or retail environment, probably not something that I can do. Right? Should have gone to therapy when I had the chance. Don't know if that would have helped or not, but it's where I am in today's world, and I do things to try to make things better for myself. You put something in my hands, I can carry it. May not be able to lift it up, but you put the heavy objects in my arms, in my hands, I can carry them. So I do believe that if I had a job and they were going to take away my position, that there should be some level of accommodation. Is there something in this business that we can give to Dawn to do for 40 hours? Maybe it's a reduction of hours. something that I'd have to accommodate. Maybe it's guaranteeing that, well, my position is being eliminated because they're coming up with self-checkouts, that when the self-checkouts do open up, that there'll be a row of them that Don will have for as long as Don works here. Right? So, or a job that he can do, greeting people, standing outside the washrooms, watching grocery carts, or something that people, something that we can give to him. But there's the reality too that people need to understand is a business, and the main purpose of, say, the big box store with the blue banner around the outside with the W on the wall, or the big grocery store, is they warehouse products for retail sale, and people who work there should be able to, at some level, perform work in any of the departments. It's one of the reasons why I don't apply to some jobs, because I know that I can't work in that position or in that facility doing all the jobs, or most of the jobs, or many of the jobs, or any of the jobs. So in the discussion of what do we do with staff who are disabled, I think first, the company hired them, they should be able to find another position for them, restructure the schedule so that they have work. Prime example is there's a push now for 4-day work weeks. So you push for 4-day work weeks, you create more positions because the store runs 7 days a week. So the reality is, if we go to a 4-day work week, yes, I have to work 10 hours instead of 8, but I have 4 days in a week that I can work, and I guaranteed my job. Change 3 on, 3 off rotations, more positions. You're working 36 hours a week, you're working 3 12s, and again, more positions we need. So there's those options. Can the company accommodate the employee either through restructuring their schedule or providing a position that I didn't list in the last video? There's lots of them. Could be talking about being an attendant at the dressing rooms. So I think there is potential for that. We talk about customers and their disabilities, and sometimes people just can't comprehend how to use the self-checkout. It's a new thing, relatively new. I think it's gaining traction, and more people are accepting that it's here and it's the way of doing shopping in 2024. But it can be a challenge sometimes to figure it out. And I'm a self-checkout fanatic, and there are stores that I've gone into self-checkouts and just walked away. I'm done. I'm not even going to continue on. There's too many questions just before I can even start scanning. Canadian Tire, take note. Right? Or the payment process. I should be able to go to a self-checkout and choose whether I'm going to use plastic or cash. Walmart's got this figured out. That's why they have the attendants there. Right? They take cash. Superstores cluing in. Canadian Tire, take note. Right? When I first encountered self-checkout, the machine took the cash. I go to Save On Foods, the machine takes the cash. Right? And I think businesses need to change that option. But I think also there should be that the attendant needs to be patient. See a person, an observant and patient, and see a person who's maybe struggling and show them some ways. I don't take stuff out of the cart. Right? When I do my shopping, I put my barcodes up so that I can get the scanner and I can scan everything. And part of the reason is, believe it or not, if I got 10 items, I got to take it out of the cart, pick it up, put it over the thing, and it's movement on my shoulder. It hurts. Where I take that gun, it's an accommodation that I've done so that I can move through the process quicker. And I think if people are seeing the people who are struggling, show them how an easier way to do it, a faster way, a better way. And if you're really struggling and you can't figure it out, I believe the attendant should be able to help with the cash out process. That's something that I really strongly believe in. And don't, some people say, well, I'm embarrassed and I don't want to have people help me. I don't advertise too much. Big shirt that says I'm disabled with hidden disabilities. Please be patient with me. I try to find ways to accommodate. But at the same time, I have said to people, can you help me? And I get a variety of reactions, right? Because people see a 6-foot guy, 200 pounds, doesn't look gibbled up or disabled. So when I say to them, can you help me lift this bag up into my cart? People are like, you can't do this? You put the bag in my hand and I'll put it in the cart. How's that? Right? I'm also losing my eyesight a little bit. And so if I don't bring my glasses in, or I wear my weak prescription, my old prescription, I have a hard time seeing. And so when there's too much options and words on the screen, it does make it very difficult, right? I have to be like doing this to see stuff. And again, if you look at me, I blink. I don't look like I'm blind. Maybe I've got a bad eye. I've got a sore eye. Sometimes I'm doing this, and because the light's affecting it. And reading the screen can be a very challenging thing at times, right? And I don't wear my glasses because it gives me a headache because everything's too focused, right? I drove to the store, I could see. I don't need to see walking down the aisle. I know what I'm getting. I know where it is. If you're a store layout design person, quit moving stuff around the store. So I believe that we can work with customers a bit more to encourage and teaching them. The system should be simple. It should be scan, pay, go. Right? And when I go into the store and, my biggest challenge too is produce. Too much reading. I got to get read up there. I might push the attendant button for produce. I want the attendant to come and help me with the produce. Right? Not to try to sell me on getting the latest credit card. So I believe accommodating staff and customers are important in the self-checkout world and staff checkout. I don't believe that we should get rid of completely staff checkouts because there are people that need it. And in the final topic here is that interaction that people get. Some people refer them as the slow lanes, right? We have the self-checkouts, the express lanes, the slow lanes where people can go in and talk to the cashier, count their change. And I do think there's value in having slow lanes. And maybe in 20 years or 10 years, or who knows, next year, hopefully not. I hope to be a sort of somewhat semi-able-bodied person well into my 80s. But who knows what next week holds, right? We don't even know what tomorrow holds. That if that is something that I need, then that's an option, right? So I believe that we should have that. While I support self-checkout, I do believe we need to have options. I don't believe in banning self-checkout. I don't believe in banning slow checkout. I believe we should have that option. And I think more and more businesses are cluing in that we need to have those options because people like myself right now want to go in, get their merchandise, check out, get out. There are people that want to or need to have that staff interaction and should be able to have that. I think it's good business, right? Especially if you're open to the public and you're dealing with all walks of life, that you have people that have that can deal with the elderly or the disabled, that are patient, aren't overworked, aren't overthinking stuff. I'm not your enemy. I'm your customer. And I think we can accommodate disabled workers. We can accommodate disabled customers a bit better. And it's something that we should work towards. And it's another reason, and I think when we're designing ways, business process or business operations, those topics, these discussions of how do we deal with our staff who may not be able to be up to par, or our customers who are up to par. How do we deal with those human connections, the people that want to talk to somebody, right? I have no problem chatting with a person about the cat or the dog or the family or my political views. Don't come up to me to sell me a credit card if you're not going to come up to me and talk to me about my opinion on free-range eggs or caged eggs. Because that's what I'm going to turn around and start doing. That's what I do. You start talking to me about, would you like to sign up for our credit card? I talk politics. Oh, what did you think of the election? Right? They generally run away real quick. So I do think that we need to do better in business operations. We don't even benches in Walmart. You ever walk the circle of Walmart? If you have bad hip, or you're old, or you have COPD or something, you can't walk that circle. You're going to struggle. So I do think there are ways that we can accommodate people that are being displaced, new hires and people that are being displaced. We can do better at accommodating our customers' needs, right? There are people that grasp things better than others. And I think if you really, truly, genuinely shouldn't be in the self-checkout, because it's, you can't comprehend, and I'm not saying this to be mean, I'm saying this in reality. If you can't comprehend how to take your barcode and do this, maybe the staff checkout is your option, and it should be available to you. And if it's not available to you, the attendant in the self-checkout should be able to take care of that for you. I think that's something. If you see somebody struggling, you should be able to, address it. And I think customers should be respectful of the people around them. And I know we talk about the staff and how the company can do things, but I think customers should take some responsibility as well, right? If you know that you can't do self-checkout, staff checkout's better. If you know that you need help, ask for it, right? There are lots of ways to do things. Sometimes it hurts my eyes to go out so much so I just can't do it. I'll use the online ordering and have it delivered. It's me taking accommodations for my own life and taking accountability for my potential disruptions. I know that going to the store is not something that I can do, and if I did go, it's going to be a problem to other people, and I need to make that determination myself, and I do. And it's the reality is I'm not the only person in this world. As much as I joke around being the king and everybody needs to pay homage to me on my birthday by giving me pie, the reality is I'm not the only one in this world, and I need to be considerate of other people's wants and wishes. So I don't use self-checkout if I can, or I don't use staff checkout if I can use self-checkout. But at the same token, I don't think that we should ban self-checkout. I think we should just make better use of tools, resources, and floor space, and my time. Have yourself a great day. Oh, and before I forget, if you like the content and you want to hear more content and be notified of more content, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and if you want to support my shopping habits, please feel free to follow the link in the description of the channel to make a donation. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.